Gemma here, level 1 Pilates. We are going to do a floor-based session today, and you'll need a cushion, a block. I'm sat on mine at the moment. If you don't have a block, a cushion, a rolled up towel, a hardback book is just as good. If you have a strap or a band, you can use that for your stretches. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So if you're injured, this is not appropriate for you to be doing. If anything feels uncomfortable at any point, then just stop, okay? Listen closely to alternatives and adaptions as we go through the session. So we're going to start on our bum, and we're going to start with the legs crossed. But remember, if you're uncomfortable with your legs crossed, then just sit with them either bent, extended out, either way. The most important thing is that you're comfortable, okay? So I know when I'm sitting cross-legged, I've got my foot on top slightly. It's just because I broke the second toe, as you know, because I probably whinge about it every week, 3 weeks into lockdown, and it's still bothering me. When I sit cross-legged, it puts pressure onto it. So if you're sat on your cushion or your block, if you've got lower back issues, just make sure that the bones of the bum are just at the edge of the block and the softness of the bum is on the block. I may have just said this, I don't know. It's been a long day already. I didn't sleep very well last night. So hands just resting on the knees, shoulders relaxed. Let us just start with that simple pelvic roll. So we're rocking back and forth. So just rocking the pelvis in and back. So just starting with that position, and then we're creating a C shape with the body. So as we're curling in, crunching up all the abdominal area, as we're lifting, we're expanding into the spine. And what we're really doing as we're getting this movement going is we are getting that synovial fluid in the lumbar spine, moving about, shifting about. So nice and steady. Just going through that movement, rocking the pelvis. And when we're getting that synovial fluid pumping, we're pumping it through the joints. So here we're really working on lubricating the sacral and lumbar part of the spine. So we go cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral. And you've got your coccyx at the end. So nice and steady. So just 4 more of these. And then last one, come up tall and keep a slight tuck under. So you're not going to go back to how you started, you're going to have that slight tuck under. So I know I naturally, so if we think of our core as like a bucket, my bucket's naturally always slightly tilting forward because I've got a posterior tilt, so I need to tuck under and hold it in place. Maybe your bucket's slightly tipping back and you need to lift a little bit, but it wants to be different to how your posture was when we first began. So we want to have that tuck under, so we're getting that lengthening along the spine going on at the same time. Let us now focus on our breath. So we want to be breathing laterally and into the rib cage, feeling the lungs expand, feeling the ribs expand and contract. So just placing the hands on the ribs, fingers spread out. Just inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So keep going with that breath. And what you want to be feeling is you want to feel the hands moving out, lifting, so like a gentle lift in the ribs as they expand and contract. Really useful if you have a mirror whilst you're doing these sessions. Because a mirror sometimes that would allow you to see that movement in your fingers if you're not feeling it necessarily. And last one. I say last one because it's just the last one where we're really focusing on that breath. So hands just resting by the side. Let's just drop our right ear to our right shoulder and just stretch out the sternomastochloid. So there's that muscle along the side here. Let's just stretch that for a few moments. So maybe you're spending more time on the tablet, books, reading, looking down. You've got a new workspace at home. Let's just have a few moments just stretching out here. We also carry all our worries and our stresses in our shoulders and our neck. So we're just going to have a little stretch there before we begin today. And we're maintaining that breath in through the nose, out through the mouth during the session. Then we gently lift the head, and let's just do the same to the other side. So just taking the left ear to the left shoulder. And they may feel different on each side. That's quite normal, so don't worry. If you're like, ooh. And then let's bring it to the centre, and let's just drop the chin to the chest. So just bowing the head to the heart almost. And just stretching out along the back of the neck and the top of the shoulders. So we've already got that slight tuck. We've already got our breathing in place. And we're just stretching out the neck a little bit. And then you're going to look forward. Let us take our focus into the pelvic floor. So remember the back of the pelvis, back of the pelvic floor starts at the back of the bottom where that crease line starts. We're contracting those muscles at the back into the middle and then round to the front. And as you contract to the front, you should feel like a lifting up happening, a lift up as if like there's an elevator and we're lifting it up. And we want to keep that elevator on the third floor through our session. Now the next thing to do is take your focus into your belly button. Begin to draw the belly button in towards the spine. We want to have tension, we want to have stability. All our movement comes from this space, but we need to be able to breathe and function normally. So we've got about a 25-30% contraction going on. Once we've done that, let us just start with some simple cervical rotations. So just rotating the head side to side, just very gently looking, letting the head turn, breathing in as you come through the center, exhaling as you go to the side. Controlled. And I'm just noticing as I'm doing this video, I'm like, why is one side of my hair longer than the other side of my hair? I haven't had a haircut during lockdown. One side seems to be suddenly longer than the other side. So very gently, last one to the left, and then relax. Double chin, squeeze that chin in, feel that sort of stretch in the back of the neck, and then release. Cranky, that's horrendous. I say that's horrendous because I can see myself in the TV screen, in the monitor. So 3 more. Scary thing is I don't even really need to push my chin back particularly much to get my double chin. 2 more. And last one. And then relax. Roll one shoulder up, then down, then roll the other shoulder up, then down. So just one at a time, drawing it up and down. Easing them out. Inhaling, exhaling. One more on the right, one more on the left. Both together. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Exhale, opposite direction. Rotate up and down. Rotate up and down. And relax. Very gently extend your legs in front of me. So legs are extended out in front. Hands either side. Lateral flexion. We're just coming over to the side. Remembering that if we've got osteoporosis, that we're going to keep this range small. Just coming over and back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more to the right, one more to the left. Last one. And relax. Bringing your hands across your chest. Take your legs a little bit wider. We're gently rotating, sitting nice and tall. Again, being conscious that if we've got osteoporosis, we're really not worrying about the hips moving. But if we don't have that osteoporosis diagnosis, then we are not encouraging the hips to rotate, let's say. So nice and steady. So one more. Last one. And bring it back. Now I'm just, stay where you are, I'm just turning to a side view. So from this side position, bring the legs back, extended out in front. So again, bones of the bum are at the edge there. All we're going to do is just draw the feet towards us and point the toes. So draw and point. Now if we suffer with sciatica, we're not going to point too much. We're just going to take a little bit of flexion and extension, dorsiflexion, should I say, so nice and steady. But if you're okay, we can point the toes. And what you should feel is the thighs activating, the calves activating. So thighs, glutes activating, calves activating. So nice and steady, just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Very gently, bend both knees. Come over onto your side, just pop in that to the side. We're going to roll down onto our side, so coming down, coming back. We're lean on our back, we're still in our mobility at this point, hands by the side of the bum. We're going to lift one ankle up and we're going to rotate in one direction, and then we're going to rotate in the opposite direction. Then we're going to bring that leg down. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we'll rotate in one direction and then the other direction. And bring it down. Very gently walk your knees and feet together, side by side, hands onto, so index fingers and fingers onto the hip bones, thumbs onto the ribs. We've got our square aware. Let us just gently shift the knees over, side to side. So we're taking the knees over to the right hand side, just to a 5 past 2 and a 5 to 2. Remembering if you want to go further, you can go further. That's completely up to you. Do what feels right for you, nice and steady. Gently swaying side to side. Gently come back to the centre, hands by the side, turn your feet out, and then heels out. We've got hip distance. Let's bring one leg up to 90 degrees. Let's just take it in and out and bring that down, and then the other leg in and out and down, in and out and down. So just bringing some energy into the legs, nice and steady. Just for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And then very gently, feet staying hip distance apart, bring the arms up. Imagine you've got a beach ball just in the hands. We've got this natural curve in the back, pelvic floor's engaged, lifting up onto that third floor, abdominals strong. All we're going to do is gently take our beach ball over our head. What we want to be conscious of is that once we get to a certain point, to make sure the upper body isn't lifting, the chest isn't lifting. So I can feel if I go here, you can probably see that lift. That's too fast, so I need to go about here. That's my position. And then I'm bringing it back. So I'm going to take the arms back, and this time I'm going to take them all the way back down towards my thighs, that beach ball, and back again. So just nice and steady. So I'm inhaling, exhaling. So I'm working on my scapular stability here. Nice and steady. Control, being really conscious that I'm not going too far, that I'm not arching, I'm not lifting that rib cage. So 4 more. Last one. And very gently, I'm bringing them back above my chest. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the shoulder blades apart and then draw them together. So pull them apart, draw them together. So you're lifting them up almost. You're not physically lifting them up. The shoulders separate and they lift. So that's what I mean by that lifting up. So you're not physically lifting them. It's just that movement is happening because you're pulling the shoulder blades apart. Then you're drawing the shoulder blades together. Get a little lift in the chest, but we don't want to be arching the spine. So if you feel you're arching the spine, make that range smaller. It's not particularly big lift and down. So what you can do is if you feel you're getting that lift, just pull the shoulders back and down into those back pockets. So again, scapular stability, nice and steady. So 4 more. Last 3, 2, and 1. And then relax. Bring the hands down by the side. Hands come onto the hip bones, thumbs onto the ribs. Simple imprints. Imprint the lower back, mid back, upper back. Release the upper, mid, lower. So that tailbone tilts up towards the ceiling, imprints into the lower back, mid back, upper back. Release upper, mid, lower. So nice and steady. Those imprints, absolutely brilliant. Strengthening and stabilizing. I feel like if I close my eyes, I could just go to sleep. I think I say that every week, so I apologise. I did have a really bad night's sleep last night. So nice and steady, controlled. Focusing on that imprint. So we're really focusing on scapular mobility today. Let's have 2 more of these. I'm going to roll onto our side. Gently bringing it back to the centre, neutral spine. Walk your feet together, knees together. 5 past 2, 5 to 2. Just a nice little bit of spinal rotation. And then when you're ready, gently roll over onto your side. Now we've got options here. We can either lay with the arm long, rest the head on the arm, or rest the head on the cushion. Or you may want to rest onto the shoulder and have the shoulders stacked. So, sitting on a chair position, so the feet, the ankles are directly below the knees. Make sure those knees are level and bring one hand to the hip. Check the hips are level. We can have our hand on the hip, we can have it resting on the mat, we could have it even resting on the side. It's what feels right. So, excuse me, do apologise, crikey, terrible today. So, regardless of what this arm underneath is doing, this arm on top wants to be extended out in front. And all we're going to do is just nice and gently bring it back, take it up to the centre, turn the palm to face towards the head, take it over the head, then turn the palm upwards towards the ceiling and push it up. So it comes over and up. So over and up. Keep going with that for me. And even if you're in that position where maybe you're resting on the arm or you're resting on the cushion, we're just bringing it over. The hands don't come together. They stay shoulder width apart, okay? And then bring it down. So over, shoulder width, palm turns up, push it back. So nice and steady, being conscious that as the arms, so they stay shoulder width apart, palm turns up, we push it back. Over, we just want to be coming to shoulder height. I know I went a bit further one time, so I do apologise. So 3 more. The last 2. And last one. and then bring it down. Now if you're in this position with the arm long, at this point I want you to change so you have got your head resting on the cushion and block or hard back block. I'm just going to move myself slightly forward. So I'm still sat on my chair and my arms are extended out in front. I've got one hand on top of the other. Just going to pull on my arrow. So I'm pulling back, I'm letting my arms slide along the chest, opening up, scapular work, and then releasing forward. So nice and steady. So inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Keep it going. So nice and steady. Three more. Last two. Last one. And relax. As you relax there for a moment, take your hand, let it rest by your side or place it just by the side. Knees are on top of one another, feet are on top of one another. Let us just go nice and simply. So the knees are on top of one another, ankles are just below. Take the knees, take the ankles just slightly behind. I think I'm ready for my lunch. And very gently opening cobbler and close. We can always place a hand on the hip, making sure those headlights, so think of the hips of the headlights of a car, they're facing forward. That's what we want to have. One hand can be in front or on the side. Hips, shoulders staying level. So nice and steady. Making sure that as it comes down, it's coming down exactly the same spot. I feel like I mentioned food and my brain's just suddenly gone, hungry, hungry, hungry. So nice and steady. 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. Oh, I can feel that. And last one. Hold it here. Let's have a little pulse just for 8, 7, not coming fully down, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and bring it down. Bring the hands back on top of one another now. This time, so ankles come below the knees. So again, you're sat on that chair, you're at that nice 90-degree angle. We very gently open, letting the head rotate, taking the arm as far back as you can, but keeping your eyes on the thumb, and then bringing it back. So opening up into the thoracic part of the spine, so that's that mid-spine, controlled. So keep going with that. I'm just going to move slightly forward so I can get a little bit more of a range. So nice and steady as we go. And remembering that the eyes can follow, but once we can't see the thumb, then that's far enough. Nice and steady. We're inhaling and we're exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Excuse me, itching my eyes. 2 more. And you don't have to rotate the head if that feels uncomfortable. If you've got neck issues, last 1. And then relax. Bring that hand down. Very gently. Hand comes by the side. Gently push up. And this time we're coming over onto our front. So I'm just putting that cushion and block there. And I'm just going to come over onto the front. So we're laying on our fronts. Hands are just either side of the chest. If we wish, if we feel we've got an overextension in the neck, we can bring our head, bring a cushion and pop our forehead on it. We're just holding it there. Feet are hip distance apart, and the bum really is, just shifting a little bit on that. The bum really is like jello, okay? So the bum should be nice and relaxed. We're just going to begin with, lift the head, neck, a little bit of the chest, and bring it up and down. So we're inhaling, we're exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. And we want the glutes switched off as we do this, okay? So if you feel that they're activating, try and loosen them off, give them a jiggle, maybe make your range a little bit smaller. 2 more. And the last one. And then relax there. Now as we relax there, again, the glutes are still switched off. Feet are hip distance apart. This time, we're going to point our toes, so both toes are pointed. You're going to bend your right knee, your foot comes up and it's pointing. We flex it, we point it, we take it down. We then bring the opposite foot up, it's pointed. We flex it, we point it, it comes down. So pointing toes up, flex, point, down. 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 Excuse me. Really incredibly rude today, aren't I, with all this yawning? I do apologise. 3 more. So remember, it's a point, it's a flex, it's a point, it's down. It's a point, it's a flex, it's a point, it's down. Point, flex, point, down. Last one on the right. Point, flex, point, down. Last one on the left. Point, flex, point, down. Take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And let's have some gluteal bracing. So all we're going to do is squeeze the bum cheeks together, knees and ankles rotating. Nothing leaves the mat, remember. Hold for a moment and then let it relax out. So inhale in as you're holding, exhale out as you release, ensuring that you've got that pelvic floor engaged. You're on the 3rd floor, we're not in the basement. We're in the basement, that means the pelvic floor is not engaged at all, okay? And we're just clenching and releasing. Clenching and releasing. So nice and steady. Just for 4. And for 3. And the last 2. And last 1. And then let it relax. Let the head relax there for a moment. Cushion comes forward. Let us come into little baby cobra or sphinx. Elbows beneath the shoulders if that's okay. Just have a moment here. Feet are hip distance apart. Core nice and strong. Peach under the chin. Eyes looking slightly out in front. So we're going to take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to roll over onto our side and onto our back. And we're coming onto that position where we've got our knees bent, feet beneath the hips, hands just by the side of the bum. Before we get going into any other exercises, let's just do some simple imprints. So again, if you know you've got overextension in the neck, your eyes are looking behind you instead of looking up, just nod the chin. If you're looking in front, just lift the chin slightly. Hands by the side of the bottom. Can't stop yawning this way, so I apologise. And all we're going to do, tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling, imprint lower back, mid back, upper back. Gently release, rock and rock. So remembering that when we imprint, the whole of the spine is in contact with the mat. You can never do enough imprints, I think. So 2 more. And the last one. And gently release. Bringing it to neutral spine. Taking your hands onto your tummy. Begin to draw the belly button down, 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 past that 25, past that 30%. We're looking here to bring it more to a 90% contraction. Hold for a few moments and then release back to 25, 30%. So again, pulling it down. Scoop in, scooping and hollowing out the tummy. Hollowing out, hollowing, and then bringing it back, and it's coming back to that 25, 30%. It's not coming back to 100% relaxed. It's got to come back to that 25, 30%, so we're still working it. So gently scooping, hollowing, holding in place. See if you're trying to bring your belly button down and place it onto your spine. And then releasing it back, and again, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Releasing it back. Scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Bringing it back. Scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Bringing it back. 2 more. Scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Bringing it back. Last one, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow, scoop and hollow. Bringing it back, nice and steady. Hands by the side of the bottom. We're going to stretch the hamstrings before we go into bridge. So if you have a strap or a band nearby, you may want to use that to assist you, or a pair of tights will do just fine. Straightening out that leg. We can keep this supporting leg bent, or we can extend it out. Okay, if you've got any back issues, keep it bent. We're aiming to straighten this leg out. It's not about getting this leg on the chest, it's about stretching into the hamstrings, the back of the thigh. So we're just going to hold it there. If you haven't got a strap, you could just be holding the leg. You could have your hands by your side. If you've got a good pair of leggings on that nice and thick, you might be holding the leggings and pulling the leggings towards you. So just hold that position. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe as you're settling into that stretch, gently drawing it a little bit closer, but if it doesn't feel like it, don't do it. So just holding it there. Now holding with the opposite hand if you can, or if you've not got a strap, you just take your hand to the outside of that thigh. We're just going to draw it slightly across the body. So this is going to get into the piriformis, into the glutes. If you find it aggravates your sciatica, then just gently bend the knee and take it across like so. It's just a little bit of a deeper stretch when we've got that straight leg. So just holding it there. Just for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Gently bring it down. Gently take the other foot up and do the same again. So straighten out, holding it, hamstrings, gently drawing it. If we want to, we can straighten that leg, or we can keep it bent. I prefer to keep it bent. I feel it puts less pressure on my lower back, but we're all individuals and it's all what feels right to us. So nice and steady, holding it there. Gently draw a little bit more if you can. And then gently holding the strap with the opposite hand, take it across the body. My glutes and my piriformis this weekend have been insanely stretched. So they're stretched and worked. So they're a little bit like, ah. Nice and steady. Hold it there. Sounded like one of the Bee Gees there. So hold it there for a moment. Taking a deep breath. As you exhale, bending, popping that strap to the side in bridge position. Hands just by the side of the bottom. Remembering if you get cramp, we can take our feet further away if we're getting cramp in the hamstrings. So let us just go into that imprint. So the tailbone up, imprint lower back, begin to lift lower, mid, upper, holding the diagonal, and then gently bring the upper, mid, lower down. Now remember, if bridge feels too much, we stick with imprints. We can place our hands on our ribs and ensure that we're not splaying the ribs up towards the ceiling. We don't want to be going too high, nice and steady. So we're breathing in, breathing out. And out. Keep it going, 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Bring the feet and knees together and gently sway 5 past 2 and 5 to 2. Remembering you can go a little bit deeper if you wish. Now we're going to roll onto our side to do the side leg series and some more upper body work on the scapula and the shoulders. So I'm going to rotate around to the other side of my mat. So I'm facing the camera, but you can roll in the opposite direction if you feel confident and comfortable in what you're doing. So I'm just grabbing my cushion and my block. And I'm pulling my annoying leggings up that I've put on today. So, I haven't worn them for ages. Put one like, now I remember why I don't wear these too often. So nice and steady. We can have the arm long, remember, head resting on there or on a cushion, or we can just rest onto our side. It's really what feels comfortable and right for us. The feet are just below the knees. We're at 90 degrees. Core is nice and strong. And the top arm is out in front to begin with. We'll have the shoulder stacked, the hip stacked, knee stacked, ankle stacked. So as if we're just sitting on a chair. This arm on top comes up. We turn it towards the head. It's going over to shoulder width. Palm turns up and we push back up. So we inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Three more. Last 2. Last 1. And bring it down. Very gently, nice and steady. This time, bow and arrow, sliding it along the body. Slides back into the scapula, shoulder opening a little bit here, and then sliding forward. Still in that position where you're at 90 degrees with the legs if you're sitting on a chair. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice and steady. Four more. Last 3. last two. Excuse me. And last one. Let it relax down. This time, nice and gently, we're going to open up, let the eyes follow the thumb, only go as far as it can. I've obviously got the wall in my way, and then gently bring it back. We certainly don't want to be twisting the neck, so the head can rotate and we can follow, but once we're starting to twist, you'll start to feel it into the top of the neck by the ear that's resting on the cushion or block, then you need to reduce your range of movement for the head, okay? And also the arm, because we're only going as far as we can follow. Nice and steady. Controlled. Last one. And relax. Very gently let one hand come either in front on the hip or resting on the bum. We're going to slide the feet just slightly behind the knees this time. Cobbler, we're opening up the knee and closing. Being conscious that those hips are the headlights of a car and they're facing forward. And as it comes down, it wants to come down exactly in the same place it lifted off from. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. So nice and steady. So 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. Last one. Hold little pulse just for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Give it a pat, give it a rub, and I'm really sorry because I didn't do that last time, so I'm sorry if I didn't allow you to give it a pat and a rub. Just check it's still with us. We're rolling onto our front again. So rolling onto our front, I'm taking my cushion and my block to the side. There's no reason why you can't use your cushion or block to just rest your forearms on. Arms extended forward if you can. So, hips resting into the mat. We're going to lift one arm and the head and chest and then bring it down. And then we lift the other side. So as you lift one arm, forehead, chest comes off the floor. Exhale as you come down. So you inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So you're inhaling as you lift through the movement. Exhaling as you bring it down. Four more. Nice and steady. Keeping the feet in contact with the mat. Feet, knees in contact. 2 more. Last one. And relax. Very gently bend the arms, let the forehead just rest to one side and hold it there for a moment. Gently let the head rotate to the opposite side and rest for a moment. I've just realised I'm going to need to move further up my mat just so you can see what my feet are doing. So staying where you are, you're going to just let your forehead rest on the mat, on the cushion, should I say. So I'm just moving along so you can see my feet. Ooh. So I'm staying in that position, my forehead's down. My hands are over side and I'm pointing my toes. And this time, so we did this earlier, but we did it single leg. This time we're going to point, bend in the knees, bring them up towards the bottom. So they come to 90 degrees, flex the foot, point and down. So we come up, flex, point and down. So up, flex, point and down. 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 4 more. Up, flex, point and down. Up, flex, point, down. Last 2. Up, flex, point, down. Last 1. Up, point, flex, and down. Gently give it a little shimmy and a little shake. And we're rolling over onto our backs again. So nice and gently coming over onto the back. We don't want the cushion underneath. We're going back to do some more bridge. So we want to be laid down. The only reason we would have a cushion under our head and bridge is if we know we've got an overextension in the neck. So remember that eye alignment is looking up. Hands are just resting by the side of the bum, feet hip distance apart. Pelvic lift, abdominal belt. This time, let's lift the tailbone towards the ceiling, imprint lower back and lift. And this time we're staying here in bridge. So hold it in this position. Core's nice and strong, hips, knees, hips, shoulders, all in alignment. We are just holding that position. Excuse me while I adjust my leggings. So nice and steady, we're holding it there, nice and strong. Remember, if you get hamstring cramp, to take your feet further away. Being conscious that the ribs aren't lifting, they're not splaying up, we're not going too high. Nice and steady, just for 4, 3, 2, 1. Upper back, mid back, lower back. Feet together, knees together. Gently rock side to side, easing it out very gently. So just shifting my body across a little bit, walking my feet and my knees across. All I'm going to do is take the soles of my feet together and knees apart, so just having a little inner thigh stretch. We can press our hands down here if we so wish, so feel that stretch, or we can just let them rest by the side for a moment. Holding it for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Very gently drawing the knees to the chest, draw the knees in, wrap your arms around and just gently sway, a little sway. It's just giving a little massage into the lumbar spine, sacral spine, nice and steady. Then we're going to roll onto our side and come up onto our bottom. Taking a deep breath. As you exhale, roll onto a side where it feels comfortable. One hand across the chest, gently lifting up. And we're coming over onto our bum. Remembering that if we've got any lower back issues, that we might want to pop a block or a hard back book or a cushion underneath our bum. So, take your take your legs, cranky. I'm really sorry for filming this before I had lunch today. I think my brain's just like, needs food. Okay, so sitting with the legs long in front, shoulder blades back and down, bones of the bum just sort of like on the edge of that block or the hardback book or the cushion, whichever you've gone for. Hands either side, okay? All we're going to do is reach over. So we're going for mermaid, but we've got our legs extended in front, and hold for a moment. So really what I want you to think about while you're holding that position is that you're lifting the rib cage on the outside and you're lifting the rib cage on the inside. So what we don't want to be happening is crunching down into the hips. We want to be lifting everything. So we're not getting compression, we're getting extension, we're getting a lift. Then use your core, which is contracting, to lift you up, bring you down, and do the same on the other side. So this is different, like, so we're doing this variation of mermaid. So we've got a little bit more control in it here at level 1. So nice and steady, lifting, lifting. Making sure the head also doesn't shrink into the neck. We're not in Beetlejuice. And again, bring it back. Other side. Now, if we wish to go further, we can take the hand and slide it further away. Holding for a moment. Using our breath, control, and our core to lift. Over we go. Bringing it back. Over we go. Over we go. So let's have one more time to the right, one more time to the left. Last one. Excuse me, scratching my eye. And then bring it back. Nice and easy. Roll your shoulders. We're coming over onto all fours, okay? So very gently, coming over onto all fours. Cushion under the knees if you need that cushion. Or maybe you're double matting it like myself. So, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. If we've got wrist issues, remember we can take it into a wrist, into a fist, but make sure that that wrist and forearm's in alignment. Otherwise, what you can do is get a rolled up towel, put the fronts of the hands onto that, and you'll find you get some wrist relief. So elbows slightly soft, shoelaces to the floor, tailbone to the back of the room, shoulders joined slightly together. You're in that perfect table. Let us just tilt the tailbone under and back. Tilt under and back. And it is just the lumbar spine, the sacral spine that's moving. Controlled. Last two. Last one. And keeping it stable and strong. Just take it back into child's pose for a moment. Remembering if you've got that COVID poundage going on, like myself, you may want to take your knees a little bit wider. Arms reaching out in front, stretching the fingertips. Make sure the head doesn't just flop. We don't want to be getting that crease in the back of the neck. So we can always put a cushion or a cushion and block in front to rest the full head on. And hold it in place. Remember, if this feels too much on the knees, we can put cushions in between the heels and the bottom, or we can keep the bum in the air and let the forearms reach forward, letting the head relax to the floor. So just holding it here for a moment. So ensuring you've got that pelvic connection, the abdominal belt's nice and strong. Slowly walk it back, rotate your wrists one direction and then the other direction. So just rotating them. And then we're going to come on to all fours again. So nice and steady, hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. Elbows slightly soft, tailbone to the back of the room, shoulders joined together. So this time we're just taking the opposite arm out, then just sliding and coming back. What I really want you to focus on, what would be really good for you to focus on, is whether your hips are staying level, whether your shoulders are staying level as you go through this movement. So keep going for me. So just talking as we go through this. So if you find that your shoulders are tilting to one side, your hips are tilting to one side, then you need to reduce your range of movement. So maybe don't take that slide out as far forward, or if you started to lift off the floor, which you may have done, you want to be pushing yourself that little bit harder, then again, bring the range smaller. What we want to have is we want to have stability and strength going on. We don't want to be going lopsided, we don't want to be tipping, because then we haven't got the form, we haven't got the structure, and we're not going to be getting what we want from this exercise, okay? So this is really about core stability, back strength, taking your time as you go through this movement. So let's just have one more on the right and one more on the left. And then very gently, when you're done, come back, resting the bum on the heels, 4 hands if you can, or just pop in a cushion, or you can even be like this if that's uncomfortable. Hands resting on forearms, just take your hands, roll them into a fist, thumbs on the outside, and then roll the wrists in. And let them release and out. So roll in, thumbs in, and out. Just a few of these just to loosen up the wrists. And then roll them in one direction, roll them in the other. So coming up onto the knees, we can do this with our shoelaces to the floor, or we can have them tucked underneath. It's really what feels comfortable, okay? So, nice and steady, controlled, bring your hands, last exercise of the day, hands across the chest. We're going to very gently come back by 30 degrees and then forward. So if you prefer it, you may want your shoelaces down 30 degrees and back. And as you come back, it's an inhale, exhale, inhale. So working into the thighs, working into that core stability, exhale as you come up. So 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. And relax. Now give those arms a little swing. We've already brought our energy up a little bit because we've come off the floor a little bit. We're not laid on our back, but we'll just bring it up a little bit more. Let's take a moment. Which is your weaker side? Right or left? Left or right? So, lead in with the weaker side. Bring 1 foot forward. And remembering, if coming up this way like a rocket, and I know I'm going to go out of shot as I do this, so I apologise, but coming up as a rocket, if that is not appropriate for you, if that does not feel right, then come up in a fashion that is right and comfortable for you, okay? So shoelaces to the floor is making this more challenging. Tucked under is going to give you more support. Just shifting across the mic safely because I'm tilting into the wall. So hands are by the side, core's nice and strong. We're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring the hands down by the sides. Now, feet are hip distance apart. Hands are by the side. I know you've not got my head in shot, but that's not a bad thing. Gently, sassy, walk it out. So we're gently sassy, walking it out. Ooh, feel that into the balls of the feet, into the toes. And then let it relax. Roll your shoulders up. 1, I'm coming lower so you can see me. 2, and last 1. Ooh, and 2 forward. Ooh. And then stabilizing, tailbones under, pelvic floors engaged. We've got that lift, that abdominal belt, juicy peaches under our chin. And we're all done. Well done. Let me know how you found that. Today we did a different kind of sequence, different flow, and I'm always really open to constructive feedback. So just comment below when Emma posts it if there's anything you did or didn't enjoy, because that's really helpful, and hopefully you feel worn out. So well done, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Who knows? Take care, keep sane.